We got Pokemon news and everybody hated it. Wait, what? Look, I know why everybody is mad, I get it. I mean, we all want to see Pokemon on Switch, and have wanted to see a true Pokemon RPG on console for as long as Pokemon has been in existence. So when Pokemon Company announces a brand new game that isn't Pokemon on Switch, at least in the way that we thought, 2 is a game that we already knew about and many have already owned, and 3 being the major kicker, there is a Pokemon RPG, but it's being released on a platform that many people are ready to move on from. And the names for the games don't do much to help either. Not everyone with their eye on Pokemon for Switch is an informed Pokemon fan, and therefore aren't informed enough to know that we've seen this exact same scenario before, almost to a T, multiple times. Because of that, we can infer a few things about the future of Pokemon on Switch. Back in 2011, we got Pokemon Black and Pokemon White, and in the year that followed, we were getting all sorts of rumors of a Pokemon game called Pokemon Gray. I mean, it makes sense. The generation prior, we saw Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Before that, we got Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Before that, we got, well, you know what? You get the point. 2 mainline games and 1 director's cut-esque game being the release cadence has been the expectation since forever. Well, Game Freak had a different plan, Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. And despite having recently released Nintendo 3DS, Black 2 and White 2 were released on Nintendo DS. We've never seen a sequel being part of the equation, so nobody expected it. That's not to say it didn't make sense then. We haven't seen a Pokemon generation starting on a platform that already had one either. Finishing that generation off on the platform that not only started it, but also on a platform that has proven to be successful only makes sense. Pokemon Crystal came to Game Boy Color during the Game Boy Advance lifecycle. Emerald came out for Game Boy Advance during the DS lifecycle, so on and so forth. Fast forward to now, X and Y completely neglected to have any new additions, but everyone expected a 3rd game to accompany Sun and Moon. Whether it be Stars or Eclipse or Galaxy or whatever you want to call it, being launched on the recently released Nintendo Switch. Yet, again, Game Freak pulled the rug from under everyone with the announcement of Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. If you think about it, releasing 2 games will always be better than that one consolidated version. Many will double dip, again, effectively allowing Pokemon Company to quadruple their investment on the backs of many dedicated fans. The 3rd version hinders that approach, and the fact that Black 2 and White 2 were the best-selling revisions for a generation since Pokemon Yellow kinda justifies that decision to stay with the sequels. To be fair, if you're not a fan that thinks about these things, it's not unreasonable to confuse these games as glorified remakes of some kind, which I can understand given the names, but just analyze the trailer and consider the context. These are new games, not remakes. As far as Switch is concerned, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a definitive edition a la Stars. There's a lot of evidence supporting this idea. There are fully created high-definition assets for all of the Pokemon in this generation. The 3DS isn't capable of utilizing 1080p assets, so what other reason is there for their existence other than the eventual plan to bring Pokemon proper to Switch in some way? Also, I mean, we did see this slip up, though Pokemon Company denied this as being anything other than error, but nothing really exists for companies if they're not public, so I wouldn't expect them to say anything less than that. In addition to that, Game Freak has already pledged to develop games for Switch. Pokken is not a Game Freak developed game, so we still have more to look forward to. We just need to be patient. I think it's just not the time for Pokemon on Switch yet. Switch still needs to continue to build up its install base. Also, Nintendo would be crazy to release Mario and Pokemon at the same time on the same platform. Not to mention, why would Game Freak want to release its game on Switch when it would make no difference to Switch's performance? Nintendo is already selling every Switch they can make. Pokemon coming out at a time when Switch is already hard to find would be a huge misstep. It's safer to assume that at the earliest, we'll see Pokemon being a marquee holiday title when the install base is bigger. I think next year is the earliest that we can expect to start hearing more news in this area. And just so we're clear, don't shoot the messenger on this. I'm 100% with you guys. I don't even want to look in the same direction as my 3DS, let alone play a game on it. This is purely meant to present the arguments many are ignoring on the other side, as per usual. But what do you think? Am I crazy? Is Game Freak crazier? Will Pokemon never come to Switch? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, check out more Pokemon stuff that I made for this channel, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Maybe tell a friend or 2,000? Okay, that's it for me. See you next week.